Hello, everybody. This is Katarina Hiles presenting my project for Berkeley Institute for Special Education. The name of my project is A Time for Joy. So, a little bit about my students. I have a class of 7 students. Some have autism, Down syndrome, multiple disabilities. Some of them are considered medically fragile. 3 of them are considered nonverbal using communication devices, although all 7 of my students have a speech delay. 4 out of the 7 students, English is not their first language, which poses another difficult barrier for communication. During this class time, we meet 20 minutes every Wednesday at the end of the day, and I have their classroom teacher, 2 aides for support, one-on-one aide, as well as a nurse. So, a little bit about me. I am a music teacher with license in special education. So, I have a master's degree in music ed, as well as license in special education. In the beginning of my career, the first 4 years, I worked in school with children with autism, as well as an intervention specialist in a school K4 as an inclusion intervention specialist. In the last 5 years, I've been teaching kindergarten to fourth grade general education. So teaching this particular group is kind of like my dream group. So I volunteer in my planning time on Wednesday just to provide one-on-one environment for them, so they can get. I think that they can get more learning if they're coming into music class separately rather than with a different class. So what did I discovered for myself as a teacher? Even though I thought that I was very well versed in universal design, um, I noticed that I was lacking lots of visuals, which could have enhanced my instructions for most of my students. So after seeing the presentation about universal design, I definitely changed my approach, my teaching approach. I also experienced that firsthand while I was attending a workshop that was lacking visuals. And even though I'm a trained professional, I had a hard time finding what music the presenter was talking about because I had just a paper copy. So I experienced lots of frustration with that, and I did not want my students to feel frustrated anyway. So I immediately changed that. I also learned with the help of their classroom teachers. I noticed what signs she used often to tell the kids certain things like to stop or what spring. So I definitely use some signs and in order to be able to communicate with them. And I used a lot of teaching props in my instruction. I noticed that the students were very excited as soon as I give them something in their hand. They're focused on it. They're engaged. They want to see how it works. So I definitely, in every single song that I was teaching, I tried to put something in their hands. What I learned about differentiation, that often differentiation can be done on the spot in the class. Yeah, we had one instance when everybody was not having a, a great day. So I had to change my instruction immediately and not push my agenda that I had planned for that day. So by the end of class, everybody was successful. I felt good about the lesson, and they felt calm, and they were ready to transition after the class. So what did I use in my lessons? I used mostly short songs for singing when they had to fill in a word or two, just because of their language difficulties. So I didn't ask for them to sing a whole song. I did lots of listening examples, and they had to do active listening, responding, or I would do listening maps. So they follow and they act out. Definitely a lot of movement using lots of teaching props like balls, streamers, scarves, and they absolutely love it. Throughout this process, I even found out which student prefers a ball, which student prefer a streamer. I can see their face just would light up when I would give a certain prop. I definitely used a lot of instruments, lots of instruments exploration, and they absolutely love that. I use a lot of puppets. They like to act out with the puppets as well. My biggest takeaway is that we as educator cannot assume the outcome of our lessons. When I think about my students, I think about as the ocean. They have so much beauty in it that it's not discovered, and we cannot afford not to present them with all learning opportunities that we can give it to them, and not assume that they're not going to like it, or that how they're going to react. For example, I had a virtual opera performance scheduled for the entire school, and the opera was with paper puppets, but the very old school black and white puppets. And I thought that the sound will be overwhelming, the visuals will not be interesting for them. And to my surprise, their teacher said that they sat down glued to the screen, watched the entire thing, and then asked later on to watch it again, because we record the Google Meet. So if I was coming from my point of view, I would have assumed that they would not enjoy an activity like that. But to my biggest surprise, they really, really enjoyed that activity. So that is one of my biggest takeaways, that whatever I think that I they can do, I should try it and then decide if this works or not. And maybe it won't work just that particular day. The biggest reward for doing this project is just seeing my students' faces. They're always excited, eager to come in. They enjoy this class a lot. So that is definitely making joyful music moments with them. It was my biggest reward. That's all I have to present for today. I do have a short video collection of all my students in the classroom, just a few songs. So if you're interested, I can add to this video, and if you can continue watching at your convenience. Thank you for your time.